Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BSV TV. I'm your host Satoshi, and on this show we'll be defending the one and only, truly genuine Bitcoin. The Bitcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto designed in his white paper as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system for the world. Let's get the disclaimers out of the way. So all the statements that you hear on this show are opinion and must only ever be taken as opinion. They are never to be taken as any form of advice, family, financial, sexual or otherwise. And on that note, let's sit back, relax, have some fun and enjoy the show. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and set your own fee on Streamanity.
Yeah, I'm not surprised I wasn't asked why I'm convinced. Craig is Satoshi. I posted on Reddit. He signed in my presence using the private key from block number one, the very first mined Bitcoin block. On a computer that I'm convinced had not been tampered with, on software I'm convinced that had not been tampered with, a message of my choosing.
At InChain, we've just funded a number of universities doing, so far, a test up to 1 gigabyte because it validates what we've already done independently. We've tested up to 380 gigabyte blocks. We've tested 1 million transactions a second and transaction sizes up to 20 megabytes. Super complex scripts. Basically ones that can run operating systems. That's basically all of global commerce times about 50. On top of that, we can have complex scripts. On top of that, we can scale each of those transactions 1,000 times, which effectively means about 1 billion transactions per second, which means we can then have all derivatives, all complex trades. That means high frequency trading. It means everything that happens globally.
Is the market that effectively BSV is going for, is that global e-commerce, which is currently valued at $29 trillion?
No, that's too small.
Buy and sell Bitcoin instantly at bsvgravity.com. And you can now book and pay for your winter holiday at skibsv.com. Good afternoon, everybody. It looks like we are live at 5 on Boxing Day. I've kept myself sober today, got the wine out of my system, had some lovely coffees, been absolutely loving it today. What a day it's been, when you have a clear head and you're, all right, I had a blast yesterday. What can I do today? Let's get my head on, let's get some information on. And yeah, like I've always said, never a dull moment in crypto. So let's get on with the show. So I'm opening up with a new screen today. Well, this is probably the screen I'm actually going to open up with every day from now on, because I'm expecting listeners to be, newbie listeners to be joining us. I don't think my show will particularly attract too many newbies, because it's not a number go up show. It's not for douchebags. It's for the intelligent, inquisitive person who's just going to be like, this BSV project sounds interesting. What is that? It's for them. Those are intelligent people, that have creativity and initiative, and they're just like, you know what, I'm going to find out about this thing. I'm not going to listen to the mainstream bullshit. I need to get to the bottom of this. What is really going on? Well, this is for you. This is what's really going on. Bitcoin has not changed since the Genesis block. The chain still keeps on going. What happens to Bitcoin is when you change it, you centralize it. But when you centralize it, you centralize control of it and you crash its value to zero, because it is no longer a commodity. You can't say that anybody controls gold. You can say, somebody's got a majority of the supply or something like that. But, they don't control gold. Just like you cannot control Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a commodity. The moment you control it, it becomes a security. And this is what Blockstream have done to BTC. So through social maneuvering and political influence, they were able to change Bitcoin and turn it into BTC. Segregate the signatures, which is basically fundamentally what holds all the developers on the network to account. So when the chain of signatures were broken, they fundamentally controlled it, which is why Ethereum came about. So when Vitalik wanted to build Ethereum on top of Bitcoin, he had to go to Blockstream and say, excuse me, can I build Ethereum on top of your blockchain? And they said, no, you can't. He said, okay, fine, I'll create my own then. Not realizing that when you create your own, You cannot solve the paradox of the centralized starting point, which Satoshi Nakamoto solved through 11 years of dilution. It's not something that can just simply be solved overnight. So not only did Blockstream implement SegWit, which gave them complete control of the system, they also prevented it from scaling. They were like, oh, well, you know, we're not going to scale Bitcoin, but what we'll do is we'll scale our centralized solution, which is our second layer, calling it Lightning Network. So therefore, you pay us now. You know, it's completely centralized. And Lightning Network doesn't use blockchain technology, so therefore the data isn't safe. And when the data isn't safe, it means that all the nodes on the network will have to be registered as money service businesses and have a money transmitter license and be regulated so that data can't go missing, which it will do any centralized system, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And we'll touch on that in just a minute after the video I've been watching today. So after Blockstream changed Bitcoin, turned into BTC, Bitcoin just simply continued. It continued with a new ticker symbol, which is BCH. And then when Roger Ver and his crony mates decided that they were then going to tamper with Bitcoin, they were going to centralize control of it by adding checkpoints, by changing the protocol every 6 months, by just tampering it and, like, you know, making it permission based. Again, they centralized it and crashed its value to zero, because the BitChain chain is now just simply a security with a centralized point of authority. People may say that, oh, you know, nChain and Calvin, they own BSV. They don't. They just simply maintain it. No one can control Bitcoin. Calvin and Craig and nChain and all the other miners on the network are just simply maintaining a system that no one can control. Because if anybody did control it, it would be centralized and be fundamentally worthless. This is why all these changes can be made. All these douchebags can tamper with it. But what they don't realize, because they're douchebags, is that when they tamper with it, they crash its fundamental value to zero. So the price that we're looking at for both BTC and BCH are just simply bubbles. And remember, price is social. Value is fundamental. The social part is just simply price being the result of supply and demand in a particular market at a specific moment in time. That's it. It doesn't mean anything. You know, whereas the fundamental value is the market that this thing can go to. So with BTC and BCH being centralized projects, the market they can cover is very limited. Limited by those people who are just simply on board with them. They are centralized projects. That's it. This is why Bitcoin can scale massively. This is why there are 5 pillars of decentralization in place. There is, first of all, the chain of signatures holding everybody on the network to account so that no one can do anything on the network that nobody else wouldn't know about. There is, secondly, a locked protocol so that it is permissionless and everyone and anyone can build on it. Thirdly, there has to be infinite scale, as in, like, Bitcoin can be like almost infinitely divisible. So, for example, if the network doesn't continually scale, there is no new market for miners to compete for, which means they will end up taking market share off each other, which eventually centralizes the system and crashes its value back to zero. That's why it's absolutely imperative that the chain must absolutely fundamentally scale. Number 4, there must be competition in the system, which is why Satoshi designed proof of work. Proof of work is what separates all those who maintain the network into individual parties. If you don't have individual parties sustaining the network, like for example in proof of stake with no competition between the stakeholders, it is the stakeholders that centralize the network. It is absolutely security. It is fundamentally worth absolutely nada. And then finally, you need to have a fixed supply. If there is not a fixed supply, it means there is a central source controlling it. That is it. So you need like infinite divisibility rather than infinite inflation as you get with the US dollar. So inflation means there is a central point of authority that can just simply inflate this thing and print as much as they want, and that's what causes all the problems that this world suffers from, like economically, politically, morally, ethically, oh my goodness me, like everything, which we will cover in more detail. But on that note, let's crack on with this. This is the crypto forecast, the strength of the system, the health of the network. So we have got Bitcoin with 0.8% of the hash rate, Bcrash 1% of the hash rate, and Corecoin 98.3, so that's BTC. And look at this, as we're currently looking at Corecoin with a price of $25,000. That's nearing 26,000. Like, but oh my goodness me, that is a massive bubble. That's a massive bubble. There is no value in that whatsoever. Which, as I say, it's really important to know who Satoshi is. Well, it's only important to know who he is when you understand the supply that he has. So really, when you're looking at the price of BTC inflating, all you're doing is basically pumping Satoshi's bags. That is it. That's all you're doing. It's a massive bubble. So if Satoshi doesn't like you, or if you've changed his design, you will suffer the consequences quite soon. Network nodes, we've got 2.3% of the nodes on Bitcoin, 10.2 on Bcrash, 87.5 on Corecoin. Transactions, looks like Corecoin has just pipped us on that one. We've got 42.9%. Bitchin, the Bitchin chain with 5.9. Where have they come from? Who knows? No, I mean, but that's over 2% for them. You know, congratulations. But I mean, who knows? You know, I mean, it could be. I mean, you've got like Japan that seems to be on board with BCH. You know, there might be like loads of Japanese people around the dinner table at Christmas, telling each other they're going to start using it or whatever. But I mean, who knows? It's just literally people, you know, passing it from one person to another. You know, maybe testing it out over Christmas, but there's no fundamental value in any of those transactions on Bcrash whatsoever, because then they're not being used for value. They're not being used to add any data onto the chain and secure the data, which will save corporations millions, if not billions of dollars, you know, in the near future. Corecoin, 51.1% of transactions on the network. Block size, Bitcoin's got 29.2. Bcrash 5% and Corecoin 65.8. So let's just have a look at some of these. We'll spot the biggest block on Bcrash, and we'll look at we've got Hathor. Hathor has mined an 853 kilobyte block on the Bitchin chain. Look at this. So not only mining blocks with data in it, but also scooping up the empty blocks as well. That's really quite funny, that one. So let's just spot the biggest block. So we've got an 894 kilobytes. We'll go down and Hathor and Hathor. That's all I can see, I think, on there. Yeah, just not even 1 megabyte. And then we look over at Corecoin, and again, because of the block size restriction, their data hasn't changed. Oh dear. But I mean, look at what's going on. Look at what's going. Whoa! Binance like mining a few blocks there, but it looks like they've been pushed out. All of a sudden, I did look at Binance earlier, and they were macking it hard on Bitcoin, but it now looks like they've been squeezed out. So we'll have a look at that in just a minute. But let's just have a look at Bcrash for lols just quickly, because it never fails to amuse me. 5,915 blocks have been mined. Amarin is money going nowhere because it's an absolute piece of crap and fundamentally worthless because he controls it, along with the infrastructure funding plan that he decides where the money goes. What a load of crap that is. We got the Bitchin chain versus Amary's coin. So Amary's proof of work by network looking very similar to the Bitchin chain in comparison to Bitcoin. Hathor with 37.2% of the hash rate on the Bitchin chain, macking it hard, and still got a 26% of the hash rate on Amary's coin, the IFP, which just means that even though Amary's taking his 8% of like $16, you know, and I mean that's literally like what, $1. So he's getting $1 every he's getting $1 every 10 minutes, you know. So that's like $10, $12 an hour. So Amary's infrastructure funding plan is planning on funding his chain for the tune of $12 an hour. I mean, that's just above minimum wage. How he thinks he's gonna fund, you know, like his own coin with $12 an hour. It's just beyond me. I mean, literally, these people are just so dumb. You know, it just blows my mind. Like, honestly, it really does. So let's get back on with these rest of these charts. I want to have a look at the chain here. Let's play spot the biggest block on Bitcoin. So we've only got I'm disappointed with just a 3 megabyte block. Never mind. So if you ask me, I would say it's the teams maybe taking a break. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Yeah, so that was a 3. Did I see? Oh no. Yeah, 3 megabyte block mined by Norpool, mempool. But still, we've got like, you know, Tau, mempool, SBI crypto on there. A little bit of Hathor, Huobi. Actually, no, let's look at more detail, see what was going on. Because Binance mined a few blocks in a row when I looked at it earlier today. Couldn't help myself, you know, looking at all the figures and stuff changing. Like I said, never a dull moment in crypto. Oh no, giving it away. So what's this one? All right, this is interesting. So mining pool last 7. So this is like BSV's 7 days. Tal on there, macking it. Hathor's on there, Huobi's on there, a little bit of Binance. Right, yeah, so this is over the last 24 hours, like just today. So Binance were initially turning up the heat earlier, but now Tal has turned up the heat, pushed them down a bit, keep them at bay, and I guess they've probably actually just managed to jump in front of them. I mean, Binance must be down here now when we look at actually the number of blocks. Oh, look at that. Block size, that's Bitcoin versus Coolcoin. Again, Bitcoin versus Coolcoin. Alright, let's have a look at some of these blocks then. So, yeah, this is it. So Binance was macking it hard like 6 hours ago. 6 hours ago, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. Almost 7 blocks in a row, like 3 and then 4. So, I mean, they must have had a huge amount of hash rate put on the chain. And then there was Binance. So it looks like they've just been pushed out, like out-competed, because that is what Bitcoin is all about. You want it, you got to compete for it. All right, there we go. All right, well, at least that's kind of. Oh well, at least we know what to expect now. So again, so hash rate, we just looked at that one, all 3 chains. Proof of work by network, Coolcoin, Bcrash just simply stopped one day. Average Bitcoin block size by network, oh, you know, Coolcoin winning. Transactions per block, Coolcoin just winning. Daily average Bitcoin fees by network, oh, see, there we go. Bitcoin absolutely smashing it. Fees, Satoshi's Bitcoin smashing it. Block word ratio, again, that will come with time, that will come with price, that will follow value. And as we know, the value in Bitcoin is absolutely enormous. Absolutely enormous. So this is a daily accumulated Bitcoin growth by network, just laughing at the bitching chain here. That's really funny. So let's look at the global hash rate. 7 days, Binance like really turning it up this week. Global hash rate 24 hours. Yeah, Binance turned it up. So they turned it up. Tried to put some hash rate on Bitcoin, and then got out competed. Again, which is great to see. So they can like do one. What is this? What's this? This is what we're looking at here. What is this? Hold on 1 second. Are we on the right page? What have I clicked on here? There are currently no proposals being voted on at this time. Did I? Oh right, blocks content. Maybe I clicked on the wrong. Yeah, oh, we wanted statistics. All right, well, let's have a quick look at this then. Huh. Blocks mined by Bitcoin client. So this is Coolcoin. So core non-EC. Alright, so we want statistics really. Statistics, all chains. Oh, there we go. I think that's what we're after anyway. Statistics. We want all chains. Ah, interesting, getting a different perspective. Let's see what goes on when we click. I'll tell you what, we'll just go to go back home. Hold on 1 sec. Might have to look at all these graphs another time. There we go. So that's where we're going to be. So yeah, just seeing these 4,500 times cheaper to transact on a Bitcoin. That's usually like in the 40s or 50s. Something's going on there, but yeah, seeing that, just seen that. Yeah, and this is what we were looking at. So global hash rate 7 days. We'll look at global hash rate 24 hours. Global hash rate core coin. Global hash rate 24 hours on the Bitcoin chain. BTC top loving that for whatever reason. Seriously, coin dance, come on. And then we're just getting to Bitcoin. Whoa, okay. Bitcoin looking colourful. Look at this. Oh, competition rife on the chain. With Tal, Binance, Huobi, Hathor, via BTC. I mean, which one do you think is looking more healthy now? Yeah, this one. You want competition on the network. Look at that. All these miners squabbling over it. You know, again, it'll overtake Corecoin very soon because Corecoin is purely propped up by the price, and the price has got no fundamental value because it's a bubble, a massive bubble. But before we look at the shitcoin market, let's have a look at some of these other stats we like looking at here. So this here is the global blockchain, the only blockchain with any fundamental value, which is Bitcoin, which is BSV, like working live in front of our face. So at the moment, we can see on the top right hand side here, this says 2.46 transactions per second. I myself personally have seen this as high as 3,000. Now let's just put that into perspective. 3,000 transactions a second. So that's if there was just to be like, you know, a thousandth. Well, you know, think how fast a thousandth of a second is. You know, then with 2,000 of a second, 3,000 transactions a second. When you think Visa and MasterCard are only capable of doing like 1,400, you know, Bitcoin absolutely breezed through 3,000 transactions a second. You know, I mean, the value this network has got is just absolutely phenomenal. For any newbies who are watching this, these vertical rectangular blocks we're looking at, these are the transactions being broadcast to the nodes on the network by the transaction generators. And then below that, you can see who the transaction generators are. You've got the transaction ID, you've got the input, the output, the type of transaction, and then usually the op return details. Once the transactions are picked up by the nodes on the network, they're then thrown into the meme pool. Once they're in the meme pool, they are then competed for by those who economically sustain the network by processing the transactions, building blocks and putting the blocks on chain so that they can then win the Coinbase of the block, which is the block reward, which is currently 6.25 Bitcoin. And then this is the actual chain being built in front of our very eyes. It always fascinates me to look at. So on this 3 megabyte block in the highlighted rectangle square below, or the rectangular highlight box, it tells you the hash number of that particular block, the block height, who it was mined by, the size, as in like the amount of data that was in the block, the time and date, the transaction count, and the total fees. So in the very near future, what we are expecting is that the fees, the total fees, will actually grow larger than the block reward. So imagine this: if the value of BSV was just simply to stay at $170, so multiply that by 6. Let me think. Trying to do mental arithmetic here. That's like over $1,000. So there's over $1,000 per block. But imagine if huge volumes of transactions go on chain, the price of BSV shoots up, and they're still expecting the transaction fees of the block to surpass that of the Bitcoin reward, because obviously the Bitcoin reward gets cut in half every 210,000 blocks. But Bitcoin is expecting massive transaction volume on chain very soon, because the total fees in the block have to surpass the block reward in order to economically sustain the miners, so that the system can continue indefinitely. Yeah, whereas all these shitcoiners are just simply looking at number go up. They're just like, oh, scarcity, make number go up. Yeah, oh, we welcome the block reward halvings. You know, and those nefarious forces who invested in blockchain, they were just like, yeah, boys, you know, messed it up for us, will you? They were like, yeah, we'll spin the story and we'll just tell them that scarcity makes number go up. Well, the block reward keeps getting cut in half, like every 210,000 blocks. So it gets half and half and half and half until there are none. There are no block rewards, and then the Bitcoin project is finished. I mean, these utterly stupid fools, how they cannot see this is just literally beyond me. But like I said, Bitcoin is an intelligence test. I don't expect to get too many listens to my show, because it is going to be far above and beyond the intellectual comprehension of many people. You know, even though you know, us here listening to my show probably think, yeah, well, that makes sense. You know, I understand what Toshi's talking about. That's kind of like logical and reasonable, and yeah, I get it. You know, but we know the mentality of some of the people in this space. Like, the intellectually challengedness is just beyond what I ever imagined was possible. But you know, we've witnessed it. You know, it's quite shocking, really. But let's have a quick look at this now. This is BitInfo charts again for any newbies. This on the drop down list here, the rich list tells you the number of, well, tells you how many coins are in each wallet. Bitcoins and shitcoins. Obviously, Bitcoin being BSV, you can see the number of wallets there. Always try and get yourself some more. And then this is the transactions last 24 hours. So XRP now having trouble with the Securities and Exchange Commission, because they are indeed a security, because they were issued by Ripple Labs. If Ripple Labs were to fail or go under, XRP would have no value whatsoever, because there is nothing there to pick up the loss. Unlike in Bitcoin, where it's a competitive system, where competitors will just simply pick up any slack. So let's say if China were to shut down all the miners in China, it just means that all the other miners on the network would get more Bitcoin. That's it. There is no single central point of failure. You would have to shut down all the mining networks all over the world at the same time if you wanted Bitcoin to fail. Yeah, and the chances of that happening are very slim, especially when blockchain technology relies on Bitcoin. So, you know, no Bitcoin, no blockchain technology. It's as simple as that. So XRP hugely increasing the number of transactions on the network, basically trying to justify themselves, wash trading. But I mean, again, it's not going to make any difference whatsoever. Like, it's just an absolute joke. And you've got Ethereum on there full of all this DeFi crap. And then Bitcoin there currently was the 6.4. So if we just go on to BitInfo charts, one of the most telling charts is the number of average transactions on an hour. So if we just go to log, we'll take a Dogecoin, because that's an absolute joke. Why that is on there, I don't know. But we'll just simply have, I put Bitcoin on there for a laugh. Chain, and over 3 years. Here we go. So if you compare this, so obviously the purple line is Bitcoin, which is BSV. And see the last volume of transactions. So it's got 663,000. We'll chuck XRP in there just for lols. See what that's doing. And there we go. So now Bitcoin is the turquoise blue. There we go. So there's just literally XRP and Ethereum above it. XRP transactions absolutely wash trading, absolute bollocks. Ethereum 1.1 and Bitcoin 663, but that's probably because we're Christmas, so you can expect that to explode later on. So whereas it says here that you know, Bitcoin SV started around November 15th, anybody with any knowledge actually knows that Bitcoin has actually been around since the beginning. It just simply got a new ticker symbol and a new price, but the chain still goes back to the Genesis block. That is it. So that's what we're looking at here. And shitcoin is going to find us really hard to understand. But, shitcoin is shit for brains. As I've said many times before. So that's that done. Let's have a look at the shitcoin market. Look at this. Core coin. Let's see if there's an hour chart. This is like 24 hours. Oh, this is like, 24 hours. So you can see it literally just sort of like rocketed up. In the last, about 3 hours ago. suddenly shot up. You know, I mean, you know, traders doing their thing. Could be like, you know, families after Christmas going, oh yeah, you know, I'll buy a little bit of core coin, having no understanding of it whatsoever. I mean, if they knew what we knew, they wouldn't be touching with a barge pole. But they'll never really know what we know because, I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of them, they're only interested in like the price. That's it. They don't see anything past that. Yeah, they think that the price must indicate its fundamental value when they realize they don't realize this thing is just a complete bubble. And this is why it's really important to know who Satoshi is. When you have changed his design, he has still got a huge supply of core coin, which, you know, we know what the Tulip Trust was set up for. That's why it was called tulips, to pop that bubble. Yeah, it's like an insurance policy against somebody turning the Bitcoin into a shitcoin, which is exactly what Blockstream have done. So that's really all you're looking at. They're just simply pumping Satoshi's bags, which makes him more powerful. Satoshi to the shitcoiners is almost like Darth Vader, you know. Or maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi is a better one. You know, you can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Yeah, that's what's going on. These guys are trying to strike down Bitcoin. But, you know, they're just making Satoshi more powerful than they could possibly imagine. I absolutely love it. Love it. So, let's have a look at XRP just for lols. This absolute bag of shite. Here we go. Yeah, so it's still down over the week. Down, I'm only really interested in the week, you know, since the news came out. So it's still down 50% this week, but I mean, shitcoin is still trading it. Even though we've seen that Bitstamp have delisted it. And the only reason they delisted it is because they're like, oh, you know, there might be a security. It's like, how can these exchanges not understand or not know what a security is? That's what made me realize, oh, suddenly these exchanges are delisting it because the SEC deem it as security. How could you not have known this wasn't a security before even listing it? Like, they can't have known the maybe, I mean, what did they think it was? Like a new asset class? Like, you can't create a new, you know, a new asset class. You know, this is a commodity. Like, everything has been, yeah, there is a definitive word for something, even if it's kind of like vague. It is a commodity. You can trade commodities, but you cannot issue and trade securities, of which all of these shitcoins are. Even Bcrash and Corecoin are now securities effectively because they are now centrally controlled. Like, that is it. You know, they should have done their homework. They're all going to be in, you know, hot water, to put it mildly. But let's have a quick look at Bitcoin. Oh, it's in the green today, up and down, just following, again, all these like bot traders, probably just following Corecoin, who knows. Down on the week, let's just hope it stays there because I'm going in the new year. Need a nice juicy low price. That would do me very nicely. You know, I just want a lower price for as long as possible, so I can just simply buy more. That's it. You know, that's what everybody should be doing. Not financial advice. There we go. Anyway, it's been fun. Like 1 hour 53 minutes. Epic. But just goes to show, you know, it is a war. You know, again, you just got to do your best. Play your cards as play your cards as wisely as you can. You know, but. On that note, enjoy the rest of your Boxing Day. So remember, same time tomorrow. And as ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there. Joy given. Merry Christmas. Catch you later. BuyBSV.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and watch the full episode on Streamanity for just 20 cents. Go to www.satoshi.tv. See the link in the description below. Bitcoin, one world, one chain.
Yeah! One vision.